Hello and welcome to today's video. This video is another episode in the stages of my journey, and today I'm going to be talking all about the fifth stage that I felt I went through in my journey: routine. Now I just want to remind you that these stages in my journey are not just a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's what happens and then you're all sweet. I actually feel that you go through these stages, you have a learning, you rediscover yourself a little more, and then it kind of just starts all over again, and then you go through the same process again. Maybe not every single stage, but I tend to find myself going through these stages time after time, like a cycle. And I go, I have a realization, I go alone, I be honest with myself about the situation, I cleanse my space, I make cuts that I need to make. These are the things that I've spoken about in my last couple of stages, and then I go through these other stages, which I'll get through in my further videos, and then you'll see the full cycle. But it all starts with a realization, which was stage 1, and then going in and being alone, and then being honest with yourself and your friends and the people around you about where you're at and maybe some changes that need to be made. Cleansing the space, removing those people, or changing your environment, or being honest with yourself about something that you shouldn't be doing, maybe cutting some ties with something. And then the next one, stage number 5, is routine. Now routine has been something that has been so important for me in these last few years, especially being completely self-employed, and especially when it comes to understanding what your body needs and what your spirit needs, so that you can feel the best that you can feel every single day. And having and installing habits and rituals in your day-to-day and making it your routine is going to be such a fundamental part in your growth, in your success, and in the way that you feel about yourself. Having these little rituals every day to practice gratitude for this life that you live, to remind yourself to practice gratitude for the life that you live, to remind yourself of your worth every day, to remind yourself of where you're going every day. And that is why routine is so important. And routine can be such a spiritual practice as well. Everything can be a spiritual practice. When we give something meaning and we do it and we repeat it, we build trust with ourselves, and we create a sense of pride and belonging and purpose when we create routines and we stick to things, and we remain disciplined. Even when we don't feel motivated to do some things, we must then be disciplined and remember that consistency is key, okay? And also remembering that it isn't the things that we do some of the time that make up our life, but it's the things that we're doing all of the time. So make sure that the things that you're doing most of the time are positive things. Sometimes we won't always be doing the most amazing things, but it's what we do most of the time that makes the difference, rather than the things that we do some of the time. So with my routine, I've got some points here. In my routine, I have my daily morning rituals. So in the mornings when I wake up, I make my bed, I cleanse my skin, I cleanse the space with some Palo Santo or some sage by burning it and walking around and cleansing the space, cleansing myself. I will usually journal. This can include gratitude writing, affirmations. Sometimes I'll just write out just random shit that I need to get off my mind, just anything at all. Sometimes I'll write out a big questionnaire for myself, and I'll go in and I'll interview myself almost, like, and write out, I might write a couple of questions like, how do I want to feel? How do I feel at the moment? How are the relationships in my life? How do I feel about that? Would I like to make any changes here? And I'll go and I'll answer those questions, and it really helps me to become really clear about what I'm calling in and what I may need to let go of. And so these are some things that I do in my daily rituals in the morning, which set up my day, so that once my morning ritual is done, I feel incredible, and then I can then step into whatever the first task of the day is, so that I will feel clear-headed and focused on that task, knowing that I've done everything that I need to for my being, for my spirit. And anything that you want to do in the mornings, maybe that's specific to what's going on for you in that moment. So if you're really struggling with something specifically in that time, use your morning to really move through that and take the time to deal with that one particular thing. Make your journaling around that one particular thing. Create a ritual for yourself just in that morning. Maybe you want to manifest something, or you want to let something go, writing it down on a piece of paper and burning it, or doing something real ritualistic like that to start off your day. It's very cleansing, it's very empowering. Another one is working out, moving your body. Now, for so many years, I have found working out has been something that I've really just put a lot of pressure on myself for it to be a certain way. You know, if I'm working out, it has to be 1 hour in the gym every single day, or else I'm just not going to do it, because why would I? It's not going to make any difference if I just do 20 minutes here and 10 minutes there. But the truth is, unless you're trying to be a bodybuilder or trying to, you know, be a fitness coach or trying to gain some sort of particular physique, you don't need to complicate your exercise regime. Do something active every single day. Can be a simple walk, could be a little 10-minute, you know, quick burn workout. It could be some yoga stretches. Anything that gets your body moving is so important for your mental health and for your actual physical health and well-being, to get the body moving. So that's another thing that I incorporate into my daily routine. And if I am in a place where I am struggling, moving the body is a really great way to move that energy, that stuck energy that's in you, and really get the body flowing and moving and breaking through those blockages, okay? Preparing food. When you are particularly in, you know, not such a good space, it's so important to nourish your body with the right foods. And so getting prepared when it comes to your foods is so important. For me, it had been such an important part in my journey, was learning to cook nourishing meals, learning to prepare my foods properly, prepping for the week if I need to for work or whatever reason, making sure that I'm creating space for grocery shopping, and making sure that I'm, you know, taking responsibility for my health and what I'm feeding my body, because there's no way that I'm going to get from A to B and from B to D and on and on and on without fueling my body with the right foods. Meditation has been a huge one to incorporate in my routine, and I did say that that's my morning routine, and having that morning routine is so important. But for you, your morning routine might just be journaling and a little bit of yoga, and that's it. And you might meditate only ever so often, and that's also great. You know, two 10-minute meditations a week can be huge for some people, and that can really make such a big difference, taking that 10 minutes or just meditating when you feel like it's relevant for you in that moment. For me, I like to do it every day, because I've found that it is, well, most days, obviously some days I don't do every single day, but I try to do around about 20 minutes of meditation each day, because it just makes such a huge difference. Because of my big workload, I like to have a nice clear mind, and meditation has been so huge for me. It's not just about having a clear mind and controlling your thoughts, but it's about becoming aware of your thoughts and realizing the things that we are thinking about. Because when we sit down and we're focusing on our breath, you'll notice that your mind will drift off. And it's in the noticing that it's drifting off and pulling it back to the breath that we become better at being aware of our thoughts and where our mind is taking us. Because often we can have extremely negative and damaging thoughts every single day that is taking a huge toll on us and is really manifesting in our reality, these kinds of thoughts that we're having. And if it goes unnoticed and we are unaware of it, then it dictates the kind of life that we're living in. It dictates the way that we feel about ourselves, and we really want to be mindful of that and actually flip it around and be aware of it when they pop up, and understand that that's not how we want to feel or think about ourselves, and then swapping it out for something healthy, something positive. So that's been really huge for me in my routine. Adding learning into my routine had been huge for me, and you know, learning should always be a huge part in your day-to-day life, because there's so much to learn, and it's a great way to exercise our brain. It's a great way to learn to live. We can live a more fulfilling life when we have more knowledge about how to do so. And so even if you're just learning a little bit more about what kinds of foods you should be eating, or if you're learning a little bit more about, you know, mental health and what kinds of things that you can be doing to improve your mental health, or learning about how to keep your plants alive, or learning about writing, how to be a writer, or just anything. I think that practicing some sort of learning, and you know, becoming someone that is constantly feeding themselves with more knowledge, it's very nourishing. Like I said, in my daily morning routine, I like to do affirmations and gratitudes. This is writing out, I am grateful for this home that I live in. I am grateful for my friends. I am grateful for this life. I am grateful for my delicious dinner I've got planned for tonight. I am grateful for fresh air in a safe country. You know, it can be anything. And then affirmations can be, you know, I am beautiful, I am worthy of love, I am fulfilling my money desires, I am, and so on and so forth. And this can be a writing practice for you. It could be something that you speak. It could be that you draw something, whatever feels right for you. And this doesn't have to be something you do every single day if that doesn't feel aligned for you. But I do think that we should at least once a week spend some time definitely practicing gratitude, and definitely reminding ourselves of what we actually are, and you know, practicing to say nice things about ourselves, because quite often a lot of us actually say things about ourselves in our minds that are fucking horrible. And it's not until we gain that awareness and become more aware of our thoughts that we actually realize, wow, I really put myself down a lot. So affirmations is a great way to start to practice saying those nicer things to yourself, because then you become those things, and you embody those things, and you manifest those things into your life. Another really important part of my routine, and something that I really love to practice, is, and this kind of almost goes against the word routine, but going with the flow has been something that I try my absolute hardest to do more of, especially if you're someone like me that likes to get a lot done. You like to be, you know, try to be so structured and try to, you know, follow a schedule and all of that. It's actually really important for your mental health and for your spirit and for your journey to also allow for some space to just go with the flow. You know, doing what feels right for you in the moment. We're so trained to do what is expected, or to do what we had planned to do, instead of doing what feels right in our body, and actually listening to ourselves, and maybe having a rest day if that's what feels good, or taking a spontaneous trip to the beach if that's what feels good, or, you know, doing a bunch of different stuff that's still productive, but it's not what you had planned that you were going to do. But it's within going with the flow that we are able to better manifest the things that we desire, because it is within flow state that we are in our element, and we are at our highest vibration, because we're just doing what feels so good in the moment, that we just feel so good and so aligned that the things that we want, we become a magnet to the things that we want, and we align with those things so much more easily, and we start to manifest things quicker when we're in that state. So it's such an important aspect for me in my routine is to allow space for that flow. I've just written down here, spirituality battles routine, flow and discipline. So it's a little bit of the yin and the yang, right? It's about finding that balance between being disciplined and being routine and following a schedule, but also allowing for flow and allowing for spirituality and allowing for that freedom and that ability to really listen in and tune into what your intuition is telling you that you should do. Because often it is when we do what feels most aligned that we actually get the things that we want, over when we do all the things we think we're meant to do to get those exact same things. It's often, I find, if I go and I do a bunch of things that I feel like I'm not really getting much done, but it feels really aligned, and an opportunity will just randomly pop up, or I'll make a new friendship because I spontaneously went somewhere and met this person, or and it's these kinds of things that we allow into our life and into our space when we create that time for flow. And so remembering that routine and discipline and also spirituality and that flow and living in alignment can go hand in hand and are both very important for our success. Someone that I follow who is very successful in their life talks about how you must have an equal element of chaos and routine in order to be successful, because it's within the chaos that we find inspiration and new ideas, and we might meet people that we never thought we'd meet, or we might learn something that we wouldn't have learned if we kept doing the same things every single day. But then we also need to find ourselves out of the chaos and back into the routine, because this is where we feel more grounded. This is where we have direction and focus and all of this. So that's routine in a nutshell for me, and something that I always come back to whenever I do have any realizations about something I want to make changes within my life. I focus more on my routine, and I focus on the kinds of things that I know that I need in my routine in order to feel my best and in order to call in the things that I'm calling in. I hope that has been helpful for you. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you for the next stage in my journey, which is learning.